The worsening security situation is certainly dealing a blow to economic activity. Inan Demir, Finansbank. Consumer confidence in Turkey decreased this month. Small and medium agriculture enterprises felt the effect of a low Turkish lira. Is this lira depreciation set to continue?
I think we can. The big picture regarding Turkey remains that this is a country which has a very large external financing requirement over the next 12 months to the tune of 28% of GDP. And Turkey needs to attract this amount of financing against a very volatile global backdrop and also on the face of substantial domestic risks, both on the political front and macroeconomic front. Most important of which on the macro front is the succession at the central bank in April. There clearly is room for mistakes on Turkey's behalf, and the risks surrounding the emerging market sentiment in general are very substantial. So this is not really the best of the times to try to attract and finance a large external funding gap. Against this backdrop, I think it's only reasonable to expect further weakening in Turkish lira.
Markets seem to still be waiting for a narrowing in Turkey's interest rate corridor. What movements can we expect from Turkey's central bank in 2016?
At least until we see the appointment of the next central bank governor, it appears we won't see any changes from the central bank to the monetary policy framework. The markets did expect a narrowing of the interest rate corridor, as you pointed out, and those expectations were actually built on the statements of the central bank governor himself. But the past 2 months did not deliver the expected simplification of the policy, and this week's monetary policy statement actually just shelved the idea of policy simplification altogether. So it is likely that we will not see any steps taken by the central bank towards narrowing the interest rate corridor over the next 2 months. After April, and we have a new central bank governor, the markets and the incoming central bank management will, of course, reassess the situation. But the chances of a significant tightening of the monetary conditions in the absence of a substantial depreciation of lira are very slim.
Turkey's government raised its economic growth forecast from 3 to 4% a day before the Istanbul attacks. Despite this growth optimism, interest rates remained on hold this week. Was this decision expected, or did Istanbul's attacks influence the central bank?
I don't think the Istanbul attack itself had a meaningful impact on the monetary policy decision, and it has also very little effect on the growth optimism of the government. The upgraded forecast pertains to 2015. From 3% to 4%, and that's actually more or less taking into account of stronger incoming data since the time of the last forecast, really. So I don't think the heightened security concerns had any impact on the government's upward revision of the growth forecast, and it didn't have any impact on the monetary policy decision either.
The Financial Times labelled Turkey a high risk following the refugee crisis. At present, how threatening are these geopolitical tensions on the economy?
I think the most important channel for the geopolitical tensions to affect the economic activity is the capital flows channel. The worsening security situation is certainly dealing a blow to economic activity, especially in the worst affected areas like southeast Turkey. But the impacts are more or less localized, let's say. However, if the security concerns were to affect the investor sentiment towards Turkey, if the investors were to take a more cautious view of Turkey because of the geopolitical tensions, then that would lead to a further slowdown in capital flows, and that would negatively affect the growth performance of Turkey. So far, that channel has not been very, very instrumental. It is certainly the case that some investors are wary regarding Turkey compared to the past, and geopolitical issues have certainly played a role. But it's not the case that geopolitical tensions have been holding back all sorts of capital flows into Turkey. So the channel has been relatively muted so far.
Well, that's all from me, but click back tomorrow for our weekly wrap-up provided by Louise Macaulay. But for now, it's goodbye.